Sponsored by Transitions Empowerment.
All right, welcome to another episode of Ballin VA. I mean, it just never stops. We got another classic guest from the 757, Hampton's own Coach Shanda Bailey. But before we get into the interview, I want to talk a little bit about what she's done and what she's doing. She went to Hampton High, played for the legendary coach David Six. She played college basketball, and now she's a head coach for the Crabbers over there in Hampton. And what she's doing now is amazing. We're going to talk about that later, about helping Boo Williams out over there at the Booplex and spearheading Winter League for some of these young ladies who need some exposure. And of course, her own team, she's just putting everybody in college. And again, we're going to talk about all that later. But first, we want to introduce our guest tonight on Ballin VA, head coach of the Hampton Crabbers, Miss Shanda Bailey. Coach, thank you so much for spending time. I know you're busy, and we really appreciate you spending some time with us tonight.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Anytime.
Well, Coach, we're just going to get right into it, Coach. Where did it all start for you? I know you grew up in Virginia, so where did everything really click for you in terms of sports, and when did sports become a part of your life?
You know what? I think I'm a late starter, if you ask me anyway. I think I started playing basketball the summer before my 8th grade year. And I just immediately fell in love with it. I've always been feisty. I had an older brother who used to fight growing up. So I always been feisty and got on the court, and just naturally a defender. I could rebound, I could play defense, couldn't score, couldn't dribble, couldn't shoot, couldn't pass, couldn't do any of that. But picked up quickly. My father was a basketball player growing up. My brother played basketball, so I was always around the sport, watched it all the time on TV. And my dad just used to take me outside every single day. We had a hoop in front of the house, and he taught me how to play. So that started it for me.
Wow. And it's funny that you talk about that. I actually was reading up on that, and at the beginning you said that you couldn't make any layups and
it was
practice,
ugly.
A whole lot of stuff like that. Was that bad?
It was ugly. I was a newbie. Like I went to my brother's games growing up. My brother and actually Tony Rutland always played on the same teams growing up. So I've known Tony for a long time, and I used to go to their games all the time as a kid. But I just was always into dolls and makeup and that kind of stuff. So it never, ever interested me. And then I had some friends in the neighborhood that decided they wanted to play. Mm-hmm. So I said, well, I guess I'll do it. And I went out there, and I just loved it. I enjoyed playing and wanted to get better at it. So I just kept working. I worked out, like I said, every day with my dad. He would take me to the gym. I remember in high school, my brother and I, we grew up military. My father used to work at Langley. He was in the Air Force over at Langley Air Force Base. And my brother and I would sneak out the house in the middle of the night and go to Langley and play on the outdoor courts. Like, I don't even know how we did that without getting caught, but we used to do it all the time. This was when my dad, he was overseas. So I guess that worked. It was just my mom at home. My dad was on TDY. And we used to go play basketball in the middle of the night, 2:00 in the morning, we would go and play. I never could beat them, though. I never could beat them, but I just wanted to try and kept trying. So we would do that. And that kind of just started the love of the game for me.
You should try to play them now, see if you can beat them.
These knees, I don't know if you can hold up anymore, but
So did you play? I know you said you started late. Did you play any AAU ball growing up, or was you just playing in the neighborhood and just trying to get yourself together in terms of just getting better?
I did. When I played AAU, it wasn't as big as it is now, but I did play for Boo. That's one of the bragging rights I have with my team. I tell them all the time, I actually made Boo's team. Back in those days, Boo only had a girls team and a boys team.
That's it.
That's it.
Yep.
One team, and I played on this team. So, and I tell them, if you had 12 girls on the team, I was the 12th one, but I was up there. So,
that's right.
That's right.
Yeah. That's right.
So, I say that at least once a week in practice.
Yeah, you gotta let them know. You gotta let them know.
You gotta let them know.
Absolutely.
You best believe they're gonna do it.
Absolutely. And I told him it was harder to make his team. He only had one team. So come on. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And like I said, we're gonna talk about everything I'm sure you've instilled in these girls, putting all these girls in college, and man, you got 5 girls in the last 2 years going Division I.
Yes.
And when I saw that, coach, I was like, nah, we got to get her on. She got to talk about this. And of course, the state championship, we're going to talk about that too. But before we go that far, coach, you get to Hampton. Coach Six was already there, right, coach? Coach Six was there?
No, my freshman year, the coach's name was,
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
But,
shout out to whoever that coach
Shout out to whoever coached her freshman year.
Whoever it was.
The freshman year, exactly.
For real.
And I have to ask Six what his name was. I can't remember, but Six started coaching me. He always coached me in the summers. So, when I got to Hampton, Six was actually on the boys' side. So he's a coach with Coach Brower. And he's to coach the girls in the summer. And we just, really loved working with Six. He was a gym rat. So he was in the gym every single day, working other kids out from other schools, trying to help us get better. So Six started coaching me my sophomore year. And what's funny is, I tell the kids now, never be afraid to take a butt whipping. My 9th grade year, I think we might have won 2 games. It was horrible. It was horrible.
Oh my God.
Yes. The next year with Six, I'm sure we went 500. The next year we went to state. Next year we went to state. So it just, when you're willing to work hard and you have the right coach in-house, anything is possible. I tell the kids that all the time. That pendulum swings both ways. So, 1 year you may be down and next year you're up. So that's how it started for us. He came in 10th grade year, all the summers, but he started being our head coach my sophomore year at Hampton High School.
Well, go ahead, Booby. I don't have one yet.
I was just gonna say you get him, and I know how highly you think of Coach Six. You always mention him in terms of your coaching style is you feed off of him, and when he coached you and use a lot of his strategies as you coach. But you're going into your senior year, you average 12 points, 12 rebounds your senior year. Hampton back then was kind of rebuilding, in terms of a program. But going into your senior year, Coach, did you think college was a possibility? Because you said you started late, and I know you weren't really sure how your ability was going to be translated to the next level. But were you thinking college at that point?
Probably, I think my junior year, I was thinking that I could. I definitely thought that I was one of the smarter kids on the court. I think if you play for a coach like Six, he teaches you the game as well, so it was, I think the majority of us that played on this team had a high IQ because I've coached with a lot of coaches. I've worked with a lot of coaches. Six is probably, he definitely has one of the higher basketball IQs of anyone in the game. And he teaches that, sometimes in practice, we'd be rolling our eyes like, oh my God, he's talking so much. But, it's like, it's all valuable, it's valuable information. And you don't realize it at the time, you're 16, 17, and you're like, okay, I just missed the layup. Like, is this a 5-minute conversation? But yeah, it is a 5-minute conversation, so I really think after my junior year, when we went as far as we did, and I could see the growth in myself from a freshman to a junior, then I most definitely thought that, I could definitely play college basketball.
While you're at that practice, talk about those practices. I heard about this tradition at Hampton High about getting kicked out and some tough love and, some, coddling afterwards. I want to hear about this. Talk about that tradition about, Coach Six in practice.
I don't know who got kicked out more, me or Waynetta. Waynetta coaches at Temple now, but we were definitely neck and neck with getting kicked out. He just, again, when I tell you that he teaches you so much about the game, and he definitely taught me that your leaders have to be in line. And she and I were leaders of the team, and your leaders have to be in line. If you have a team where you can't discipline your leader, you're not going to win.
Right.
I remember one game specifically, it was a scrimmage actually, and Six had told us to be there at a certain time, and he was trying to call us to tell us to come earlier, and she and I missed the message. So by the time we got to the gym, the game was going on. David Six made us get on the sideline during the scrimmage and run. And we like, what we running for? You say it. We just, but he was just like, he's such a disciplinarian, you know, it's just like, that's what we had to do. Yeah. But, what didn't I get kicked out of practice for? There were times too where I might get in trouble
What
at
did that
home.
do for you?
I mean, it made me stronger, you know, like I'm saying,
Okay.
I remember a time where, you know, me and my girlfriends, it was a snow day and we decided we were going to skip school and we didn't know it was going to snow. And my mom called sick. And I mean, that our parents were just like that. You know, if I did something at home, my mom would call the coach and, you know, he had us in practice running. So it was definitely a respect thing. The parents fell in line. You know, if my mom came to a game and Six was giving me the business, my mom would clap like she loved it. Like, yeah, get her, like tell her, you know,
okay.
She understood that he was an extension of, you know, home.
That's right.
And
that's right.
That those type of values when it comes to girls basketball are kind of what he helped, you know, instill in me and what I try to give to my girls as well.
I got one more question. I'm sorry, I got one more question in regards to what you were saying, to piggyback on that. Was it, and I guess you answered it, but I guess maybe I missed it. Was it tougher for you? Would you rather have maybe Coach Six as a man coach, or would you have rather have a females coach? Because a lot of times you have females with the estrogen levels may clash, and then you have more young girls may respect the men coach because of the masculine energy or whatever like that. Did you have a preference, or it just didn't matter to you at all?
That's a great question. Let me say this. So I am a proponent for more female coaches in women's basketball. I feel it's needed. It's lacking. Like if you look in the PD, I think we have now 3 female coaches out of all the schools. Wow. And it bothers me because we're teaching these young ladies to be leaders, but on the flip side, we're not putting them in positions to show the leadership skills that they've developed. I definitely feel like male coaches are needed in our sport. I would not be the coach I am, the basketball player I was, the person I was, if it weren't for having David Six in my life at such a young age. But I do feel like the discipline that he instilled in me and the love for the game could also be instilled by a female. So it's not necessarily I need a male or a female to do this. It's the right person, whether that be male or female. That person happened to be a male and he was very instrumental in my life. And I just hope, you know, that whatever he gave me, that I've given it to somebody else, you know, you know, the same values that he has as it relates to the sport are the values that I have, you know, as it relates to the sports and what I try to give on. So.
Okay, great answer.
That's a great question and a great answer. And what I was going to say, Coach, is once, you know, your mom confronted him and told him, look, take care of that. You know, you can discipline her any way you want. I think that made Coach Six say, look, now I can give her tough love. And I think a lot of coaches, and I know you know this better than anybody here, when you don't feel like you have that freedom to coach a kid because the parents are looking over your shoulder. And I think once Coach Six found out, look, I can coach her as hard as I want, he knew what he could get out of me. And he knew, you know, and as a coach, you know who you can push. And I think that was so great, you know, for your mom need props. She deserves props for that because she made it easier for Coach Six to push you. Because she gave him the opportunity, you know, to feel comfortable to do that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And not only him, his mama used to give me the business worse than he did.
Like,
oh my God. You know, it was like talking to your mom all over again. Like,
right. But see, that's how it was back then. You know, everybody, you know, you had that village.
Yeah, absolutely. His mom did not hesitate to tell me off any chance she got, but I mean, she loved on me so much too, you know, so, and that's just what I try to do. I try to let my kids know that I definitely love them and I care about them, but I'm going to be tough first. I mean, that's how it is because one of my favorite things to say in practice is if you can deal with me getting on you, and you know I'm getting on you and I love and I care about you, then when you get out in the world and people that don't even know you, when they say stuff to you, it's not going to matter. You know, it's not.
Yeah. Yes. That's so true. That's so true, Coach. Oh, by the way, Winnette was a dog too.
Oh,
Really,
absolutely.
she could play. She could play.
Absolutely.
I remember watching her play. So look,
Mhm.
your senior year, you had, like I said, you averaged 12 points, 12 rebounds per game. You know, you think in college. What was that recruiting process like? And I know you ended up going to UDC first, but what was the recruiting process like? I know Coach Six was instrumental in that as well.
You know, at that point in time, I really wanted to be a sportscaster, and I felt like a big city was where I needed to be.
We got somebody else taking that job, bro.
Come on over to
come on over.
VA.
Yeah.
Got a seat right here.
I was all for, going to a school like UDC. I'm sorry, I had a call pop in. I was all for going to a school like UDC. I mean, just loved it. Fell in love with the city. My family's from Baltimore, so it was close to family.
Didn't know that. That.
Yep. So I was all for that. All down for it. So the recruiting process was very easy for me. I did transfer after my freshman year. And I think the recruiting process then was a little harder. There were definitely more schools that were interested. And it was kind of a hard choice for me, but my family's from North Carolina. My mom's side of the family is from North Carolina. And my mother actually went to Fayetteville State. So I chose to go there. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, I'm a Baltimore native as well, so I knew it was a reason why we clicked, Coach. I knew it was something. We had that. Yeah. But you get to Fayetteville State. You were all freshman team, I believe.
I was.
Yeah. So you did your thing. Yeah. Okay.
I did. I enjoyed it. I definitely felt prepared. Good games. We played a lot of CIAA schools and stuff then, so it was good games.
That's when the CIAA was the CIAA.
Absolutely.
Man.
Yeah, I don't know what they got going on now, but
I don't know. Mm-hmm. You're right. In the mid to late 90s.
Boy.
Yes,
woo.
It became different, right? It's different.
It did. It's a lot different. It's a lot different.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on now, but we're gonna leave that for another day.
No, but look, you finish your career, Coach, and what's your you have a great college career. I mean, you go to Fayetteville State after UDC down in North Carolina, Fayetteville, North Carolina. So what's your mindset at this point, Coach? What are you thinking at this time? To come back home and get into coaching, or are you thinking about, maybe getting into broadcasting or going overseas? What are you thinking about?
Coaching, definitely. So I went back to Hampton High School and started coaching with Six. So I was the youngest JV coach ever at Hampton High School at that time. I was, fresh out of college, and, some of the kids that were there when I was in school were still there playing, and administration remembered me. So they're like, Shanda, I don't know. We gonna
she's too young.
We remember you. So it's kind of, they made me
you
coach.
Sure you don't have that problem now?
Yeah, right. You could be a student now. Yeah.
Exactly.
Thank you. But no, they made me coach with another we were co-head coaches, and we went undefeated that season. So we had a good year. It was a good run. My first year was a good run. And so this is.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying this is probably my fourth stint back in Hampton High School coaching.
Really?
Oh yeah, I've left, come back.
Mm-hmm. Left and came. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Why was that? Hampton was home.
Oh, absolutely. I would. You know what? I can't ever see myself coaching at another high school. Ever. I question whether I would have the same type of love and commitment to it. If you look at Hampton High School, all of the coaches, I think, are like graduates. He graduated from Hampton. Our baseball coaches got Mike Smith, the football coaches, we're all Hampton High.
Yep, for sure.
All come back. And I love that tradition at Hampton High School, because that's what they do. You see it sometimes in other schools in the PD, but we're definitely homebred, and I understand that tradition. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess you don't really know, because I'm not, like I said, I'm not from here, but even not being from here, all you hear about is Hampton High. You didn't hear about nobody else. Yep. You heard about Hampton High School. You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
That's it. You heard about Hampton. You know what I mean? Whether it was Ronald Curry or Coach Smith or Coach Six or whatever.
Always.
You always heard about Hampton. And you guys always had, I don't want to say you had that, I guess you did, like I said, you had a chip on your shoulder that you were from Hampton, and you guys wore that on your sleeve. And that's what makes it so prestigious, because the people want to come back. They want to help out the young generation. They want to give back to the community. And that's why I love what you're doing. I love what Hampton represents, because it's like you said, Coach Smith, he's still there. What? I mean, he been 50 years or something like that.
Coach Smith has been there since I was.
You were like, yeah, exactly. Coach Smith, and now Coach VI is taking over for the late great Coach Mitchell. It's just, man, it's just amazing. But and then I know you said you kept going back and forth. You won a state title on the sidelines with Coach Six as assistant coach, right?
Absolutely. We started, I think that was like maybe, was that 2001 maybe? We won, came close a couple of years, but definitely on the sideline, learned a lot from him. Definitely.
Okay, so let's talk about, you get the head coach job, Coach. You've had some stints. You went to the apprentice school. You were at HU. You were at CNU. You were at the JV coach at Hampton. You won a title there with Coach Six. But now the program is yours. And I read a quote where you were like you just said, there was no other school that you would want to be at besides Hampton. You get that coaching gig at your alma mater. What was that feeling like for you when you first got it?
Believe it or not, coming back to coach at Hampton, I don't know if too many people know this, but like I was there maybe about 2 or 3 years before.
Okay.
And we had a new principal in the school, and she wanted to bring in her own people, right? Nobody that was there. So I applied for the job and didn't get it. And I was like, what? Like, it was kind of like I was really
shocked.
a lot
though.
I was really shocked. So then when we had a new administration come in, after she left, we had a new administration come in, and they contacted me to come and apply for the job. I was like,
like, nah, I didn't try that way.
Felt some type of way.
Because believe it or not, I was still helping those kids. Like, I took Michaela over to meet Six to get in school over there, and I'm thinking like, this is the new coach's job. Like, why am I doing it? Still have that love for the kids and love for the school, so I did it. But E was still there. Everybody was still there. Coach Smith, Coach Mitchell. So it's like coming back home, and quickly got over it and put my pride to the side and, went over and got called up. Some of my old coaches that helped me. James Harris has been with me since I coached JV. And everybody was on board. So we did it, came back. And what's funny is I always said, okay, I'm going to come back and I'm just going to help turn the program around. And then I'm going to leave. I'm not going to be a lifer. I'm going to help get it back.
They all say that, Coach. Right.
Mm-hmm. And believe it or not, every year I have said to myself, okay, this is going to be it. I really? Said, oh my gosh. Once I got, I knew I was going to stay for Candace and Lene for that class to get out. And I said I was going to leave after them. And then I said, no, I don't want to do that to Danielle. So I'm going to wait till Danielle gets out. And now Danielle getting out. And I'm like, but I want to get Jayla out. Let me get Jayla out. So it just,
I didn't know that, Coach. I didn't know you thought that way. That's interesting. Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah, there are other things within the sport that I want to do.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. You got to expand,
Yeah. But I'm like, I don't know who I would trust that would do it, that would come in and give 150 like we give 150. So.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Larry,
what are those things you want to do? No, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Wolby.
No, I was going to ask one question before Larry goes. You talked about those players, Coach. You got 5 players that went Division I in like 2 seasons, Coach. And again, that's your way of giving back. You're helping the younger generation, fulfill their dreams to get to the next level. How gratifying is that for you as a program? I mean, I've mentioned it on Twitter and I've texted you about it. I just love what you're doing for the program. And by the way, everybody listen, she's the best dressed coach in the district, not if not state. I mean, my girl be just laying it out, red carpet style, people. Red carpet. Larry, you gotta check out next time when the season comes around next year. But
I will be at the game.
Yeah, red carpet style. I just want to let everybody know it's red carpet style for sure. But look,
make sure you shout me out too. I'm gonna be.
We gotta do that. We gotta
do that. Coach.
Oh my gosh.
No, but seriously though, I just love what you're doing. I always been a fan. I've been a fan of yours, Coach. Even we broadcast the games locally with
Thank
Hampton.
you.
I just love what you're doing, and just talk about that, Coach. How gratifying it is to put some of those kids in college, that next level. That's their dream, and you're able to help them get to that point.
It's definitely a good feeling to see the kids live out their dreams and being able to give back. I tell the kids all the time, I don't need a bit of recognition for anything. I've lived out my dream. I played high school basketball, I've coached college basketball. I went to school on a scholarship. It's their turn. And for me to help them get to that point and help them fulfill some of their goals, I mean, it is a great feeling because the kids are happy, the kids are excited, and these kids become your kids.
Yes.
They become like an extension of you. So you want them to be as successful as they can, like you want that for them. So we push them and they accept the challenge. So it's really gratifying for us as coaches to see their dreams come to fruition. It's a great feeling.
Yeah, because I see you on Twitter. You be retweeting, you retweet. I mean, you be hitting it. You be hitting the hammer.
Yes.
And for me, they talk about why is that important? Because, this is why I love that you do that. Because for me, having a child that play and not having that coach do the same thing, as far as, helping promote and, get that kid seen, get those kid looks. And when I see someone that's doing that, man, that's like, for me, it gives me chills because it's like, you don't have to do that. That's not in your job description to do that. That's love, because you try to be like, well, damn, how you be a coach and you not be involved at all, trying to get these kids to go to school? Regardless if it's the 6th or 7th kid, if that kid want to play, get them seen, get them out there, put them, make some calls. Absolutely. So for me, by being I didn't have that opportunity. So I commend you for doing that. So why, I'm saying, why is it important, to you that you feel like that you want to help these kids sing, regardless of that?
I am, again, all about women empowerment and helping young ladies. I feel like we don't have enough of that in our own sport. We don't have a lot of women coaching, and I need them to see the sort of things that women do for other women. We're able to coach. We're able to be successful at this level. We're able to help these kids get into college. My kids had a little unknown fact. My kids had my girls basketball team had the highest GPAs in the school out of all sports.
Preach, Coach.
One of the highest in the city.
Preach, Coach, for the people in the back. Say it again for the people in the back, Coach. Yes, ma'am. That's good.
We're able to, as women, we're able to be leaders in our own sports. And I think that's important that young ladies see that and understand that. I had a female, her daughter plays basketball, believe it or not, and she told me that she wanted her daughter to play for a man. And I was kind of like, why? I couldn't understand that. And I know she didn't mean any harm by it. Right. She just had to understand that a woman is able to do the same things that a man can do. I would bet the ranch that my assistant coach, Dee could probably beat every guy that's coaching on the girl side. I mean, this girl can play, I'm just she played at Temple. I'm like, none of these guys can beat her, so they need to understand that. And I mean, just look at the game that just played, was on the other night with South Carolina State. And you have, 2 Black females that are out coaching these young ladies. Yes, I mean, it's important for parents to understand that a female can really help their kids out. And I think for me too, and I have to say this, Coach Sawyer is probably one of the biggest.
Lake Taylor.
Oh my gosh. She's she doesn't even know it, but she's like an inspiration to a lot of us, young Black women who look up to her because she's done it, and she's done it repeatedly. And, she's dealt a lot with, people in the sport being dismissive. And, you know, I deal with it as well. And she's able to, you know, talk to me and help me through some of the challenges that we face as females. But again, it's important for me to put that out because, you know, young ladies aren't striving to be like men.
That's
you know,
right.
they're striving to be like other women. So if we don't put those role models in front of them, you know, what are we giving them to chase after? You know, what are we emulating to them if you don't put women in positions to be leaders? You know, I don't understand the mindset behind it sometimes.
This is why we wanted you on, Coach. This is the main reason why. I mean, I love what you're doing, but what you doing for these, I mean, I love what you're doing as a coach, but what are you doing outside of the court is what I really want to talk about. I know you got to run. I got a couple more questions. I know Larry has a couple questions too. I want to talk about
think she can run.
You got to go. I want to talk about the state championship. I mean, I know you weren't able to play the actual championship game, but to get a championship, a co-champion, I mean, you won one as an assistant coach. Now you won one as a head coach. I mean, what are you thinking at this point? Okay, first of all, when you weren't able to play the game, I know you had mixed emotions because Monacan High in Richmond, which had a pretty good team. I was really looking forward to that game. Larry was too. But what were your emotions at first when you found out you couldn't play the game?
I mean, I was devastated. My kids were devastated. It hurt. Like, really, like, we were so excited. You know, I felt like really we were playing our best basketball. The kids felt like they were unbeatable. You know, one thing I do at the beginning of every season is I give each kid a quote. And most times a quote is based off of their personality and what I think they need, you know. And we go through practice. So, you know, first week of practice, I'll give one person has to give their quote. You know, next couple of days, somebody else has to say it. So by the time, you know, we get through all 10 players, you know, every other day, everybody is going down the line and saying their quote.
Okay.
And it seems kind of silly, and I'll send it to you so you can see it. Okay. But when they keep telling themselves that over and over again in their quote, and some people have very short quotes, some of them are very long, you know, they're like poems almost. Right. It's giving them what they need. And when they keep telling that to themselves over and over again, you be surprised by the end of the season, like that's what they're hearing. And they're hearing their teammates say the quotes as well. So we had one quote, and I won't say whose quote it is, but one girl, her quote was, "You've always had the power. You just had to learn it yourself, my dear." And it's from, you know, Wizard of Oz. Right. You know, like, and it seems very minuscule, but this was a kid who I wanted to know, like, you are the best, one of the best players on the floor. Like, you have the power. Like, say it over and over and over and over again to yourself and let your teammates hear it. You know, then we had another kid who had, hers was a 60-second poem. And, you know, was telling her I only have a minute, only 60 seconds in it. You know, like, just telling her, like, look, this is short. It's short-lived. You know, you only got 1 minute. Like, what are you going to do with it? You know, and everybody has a quote. And by the time we got to the end of the season, those girls felt like they couldn't be beaten. They wanted to play. We were practicing well. They believed in each other. You know, teamwork was on point. You know, they believed in their coaches. Just the camaraderie was, you know, it's on 10. And then they snatch it out and say, we can't play. And then this year, again, like I felt like we could have won it again this year, you know, like
the squad, man. Oh my God.
Could have won it again this year.
Remember I saw you, I think it was at Tyrod's his camp. You said, well, babe, in 2 years, we got this. I didn't tell nobody what you said, but I was like, okay, coach, you said we're gonna get it in 2 years. This is a couple years ago. And I saw what you had coming in, coach. Oh man.
Yeah, that would have been a good game to see because I definitely, me and you was talking about it. We was like, man,
I was gonna go. I was on my way there because I think it happened the day before before your game.
The day before.
Yep. Yeah. I was like, man, you know. So I know for you as a coach, and first of all, you know, again, I'm sorry to tell you this. Congratulations on Coach of the Year for 2020.
Thank you.
You know,
Well
you got to shout
deserved,
that
of
out. We got to
course.
we got to put that out there, people. We got to.
I'm sorry, I
you know,
missed that
give people
I
their
missed that in
flowers.
my intro. I should have said that.
No,
I'm
that's
sorry.
okay. No, we both did
That's
that.
okay.
That ain't
Thank
on you.
you.
We both. I'm supposed to pick up where you just
There
left
you
off.
go.
So
Thank you for
that's
picking
on
me
both
up,
of us,
bro.
man.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? No, we good though. But I can only imagine, you know, like I said, especially for the seniors too. Man, couldn't play the last game.
It
That's
stings.
tough.
It stings. But you know what's crazy? Actually, we just got our rings in. So I'm in the process of trying to figure out what we're gonna do to try to commemorate the moment still.
I hope you can do something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So hopefully I'll contact the school board and see if we can do something with the kids. A couple of them are off at school, so maybe we might do something virtual with them. But the kids definitely should be celebrated for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. That's etched in stone. Look, when you go in Hampton High, you know you gotta do like this.
You gotta
The
look at the
pictures up there.
titles.
You have to get them.
I remember.
Look at
I
everybody
remember.
the pictures and stuff.
I remember Tyrod when back in the day. He said, "It's already if you go to Hampton with your coach or player, it's given. You have to win one. Whether it's a coach or a player.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You go to Hampton. That's just what it is. Whether it's basketball, football, or whatever they have over the track, they always do something track too. So
something. Mm-hmm.
But coach, like talk about, and this is the main reason why I wanted to get you on, about what you're doing for the kids now that, like you said, aren't able to play this season. You over there grinding over at Bulls. As a matter of fact, you talking to us from Bulls right now.
Shout out to Boo.
Shout out to Boo.
Yes.
Hey, look,
He's in
real
the
quick.
office.
Hey, Boo, is Boo there?
I just got him on a Zoom call. That's why he saw
Oh, I was gonna say, man,
we can do that. Shout out to Boo.
Shout out to Boo. He was our first guest on this podcast, so we really appreciate him. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
so
he started the inaugural.
He started the whole
yes.
thing. He started the whole thing here. But talk about what you're doing over there, and the reason why I asked is because you had an opportunity to play, and it was taken away from you, but you didn't put your head down and get discouraged. You ended up starting something special at Bulls. You spearheaded a winter league for your girls to play, and you had a senior night and everything like it was a regular season over at Bulls.
I felt like we had to, because if you look at it, look at the seniors in this class who are able to play at the next level, who won't have any film.
That's the main thing. Yep.
Who won't be able to show coaches that they can still compete. Lamont Struthers, did it on the boys' side, and I did it on the girls' side. So the idea behind it all was to give them as close to a regular season as possible. Let the girls come in here, let them compete. Let's do our senior night. We did an awards night, so we still picked all league teams. We had MVPs. We had 3 divisions, so we had a gold, silver, and a bronze division. And we tried to put teams in the divisions, according to, still using a kind of 2A, 3A, but that seemed to not be working.
Is this all over the state, coach? Is this local?
We had all over this area. So we had teams from Virginia Beach, Norfolk, Hampton, Newport News, Williamsburg. So all of the teams who really weren't having a regular season were able to come in and play. Suffolk, we had, teams from all over. And, we played games 3 nights a week. The girls came in, they competed. And it really helped give them something to do. If we think about it, COVID is, it's tragic. I had a brother pass away from it.
Sorry to hear about that.
Thank you. It's it's really tragic. And these kids are in the house. They don't have any outlet. Their seasons it was devastating to some young ladies. The season is totally taken away, especially if you're that senior again who doesn't have any offers yet, but you can play at the next level. So we actually got our track coach at Hampton High School to come in and record some games. He live streamed some.
Shout out to Ron Baton, the track coach.
Baton.
That's what you're talking about. Yes, sir. Coach Baton.
Shout out Coach Baton.
Yes,
he has a lot of the games still on his Hampton Media Network YouTube channel. We sent those out to coaches. Invited all of our AAU coaches out. So
that's great, Coach.
It was a great opportunity too for some of those younger kids to be seen and be able to be placed on certain AAU teams where that's why I'm up here. There's practice tonight and Boo has a Zoom. So, coaches were able to see kids that they normally wouldn't even see during the regular season because of, playing in different districts. So great opportunity for these kids. Great opportunity for them.
Man, I love that. I love it.
Man, I wish I had a daughter to come down there and play for you.
Oh man, I love it,
Coach.
Man. I love
oh man, I'm dead serious, man.
No, we've talked about you because I was like, man, we got to get Coach Bailey on. That's why
we did. We've been talking about that over
what
and
she's
over
doing
and
for this community. Yeah, and
thank you.
And the one thing that I like that you talk about, Coach, is you highlighting all of your players. It's not about you. It's about the players. And a lot of times, regardless of what people say out of their mouth, it be about the coach. It always turns around to be about the coach. But for you, since we've talked, everything has been genuine and it's been directed towards your players. Because we talk about the seniors missing out and everything like that. But look what it could have done for you. You talking about, a co-championship, and you could have had another championship to add to your personal legacy, Let's think about that too, So I understand, know that it's not about you. You don't want to put that out there, but I'll say it for you. Because again, that could have been in question with COVID. You could have ran, 2 off or had a third championship or whatever. And that could have, right, exactly. So, people, I know that, but no, I'm not gonna let you sell yourself short. So we'll do that for you on here. So
I got my pom-poms waving for you, Coach, all the time. You know what I'm
serious, man. She's always bringing it back to the players. That's what I'm talking about.
It's that, and it's the community too. And I love, that's one thing about and they always talk about 757 so passionate. But one thing I will say about this area is they love where they're from and they'll come back.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Whether it's Coach Bailey or Tyrod or Rutland or Ronald Curry or Chuck, they always come back because they love where they're from and they just want to help the kids. You know what I mean?
And see, that's what it's about. And see, that's what I love about 757. I love that about Northern Virginia. And here in 804, it's not so much. Right. Because you guys get to go back to your alma maters and coach, the alma mater, the area. But for whatever reason here in Richmond, they don't do that as much. It's always giving that stipend to somebody else that probably coach soccer just to fill a slot. I'm serious. And that's nothing against soccer, but it's just that's the way it is. Because you have a lot of guys that George Whiff and Huguenot that played the game and wanted to come back to coach there. But for whatever reason, they don't give them the opportunities, men's or women. And I don't understand that.
Right. I definitely feel like you have to be, and again, it depends on leadership. I think at Hampton High School, we've always had really good leadership who bought into sports. Our principals love sports. There's never been a game that I haven't seen our principals on the sidelines clapping. Oh, absolutely. So when you have a principal who takes pride in their school and they want to see the program do well, that's when you bring in somebody who is going to give 110% back, and that they know what they're doing. I can't speak for that area. Maybe the principals feel like they're doing the right thing. I don't know specifically, but I know in this area, we definitely have principals that buy into their programs. And that is a great thing, especially at Hampton High School, the Hampton High School. It's been renamed.
Here she goes.
There you go.
See, I got. Hey, Coach, I got a Bethel graduate here, so I got to be a little biased on that. But it's all good.
Hey, it's all good. Look, red and white, VA.
She said the Hampton, so I'm gonna stick with it.
I'm rolling with it. Look, they earned that like a motherfucker. Let's go ahead and call it what it is.
Y'all did earn it. I ain't gonna lie to y'all.
They earned that like a motherfucker.
Best player you played against or with on any level?
Great question.
Ooh, best player I played against or with.
Yeah, we're gonna make you stretch that brain a little bit.
Make you work tonight.
Yeah, you ain't getting off that easy.
I'm gonna say the best player I played with had to be Danielle Dawson.
Larry know who that is.
You know what? And you know what's funny is I talked so much junk to her.
I know you did. You talking a
Because she
little
went
smack.
to Mitchfield, and I ain't give nobody from Mitchfield no props. So even though I said that,
Look, that was considered a bougie school back then. You know what I mean?
right?
Exactly.
But I will never big up a kid from Mitchfield. So even though I said Danielle, delete that out.
Shout out to Danielle Dawson.
Yeah, Danielle can play.
Ballin VA.
Oh
yes,
yeah,
sir. Yes, sir. She was nice.
She was pretty good. And I mean, but you know what? Wait.
Uh-oh.
No, go
I
ahead.
forgot. Now I'm showing my age. I gotta retract. Danielle's is probably the second best. The best player. But
Danielle, you want to come on the show? Come on.
She'll agree. The best player I played against, hands down. No questions asked. Keisha Frett.
Well,
we know that.
I had a feeling. Yeah, we had a feeling. We wanted you to say it.
Now, what made her so good, Coach? Like, was it
gosh?
Just, I mean, I saw her play. I'm just saying, from you being on the court, you said playing against. What made her so good? I know, right? What didn't make her good, right?
I mean, she a 6. What is she? 6'2"? They might
6'2",
6'3", 6'2".
Yeah.
I mean, hands on the ball, like could shoot it, was smart. This is what I'm talking about. Like I was in the 9th grade, I think, when Keisha Frett was a senior. Mm-hmm. They probably beat us 115 to like 2.
You lying?
If I'm lying, I'm flying.
You score the? I hope you scored the 2.
Probably not. Remember,
she couldn't make layups back then.
That's why she couldn't make layups.
Yeah, she couldn't make layups back then.
Really? She was like that. I mean, I listen. I will say that too. I will say that too.
I mean, I remember Keisha Frett gave me my first elbow, and I mean elbow like I gotta come out the game. Like I need to sit down and get some water. She was just.
It just lets you know what that top level talent was about too. You know
absolutely.
I mean? Yeah.
And to me, when you're, I was so young,
right?
And again, this is like really I played varsity in my 9th grade, 9th grade year. I had just started playing the year before, so here I am barely making layups, and you have a kid like Keisha.
You probably thought to yourself, I don't know if I want to play this basketball thing anymore.
No, it made me want to play more.
Right.
It made me want to get better. I'm like, how's this girl doing this? Like, how does she do this? I mean, I was like in awe of her on the court. Mm-hmm. Danielle will agree. She's the best player to come out of this area.
I'm sure Danielle.
I'm sure she would agree with that.
You think Diamond third? Best to come out of here? Diamond.
No,
but people don't know Diamond.
I played against.
Okay.
So, but I would say Keisha Frett and Diamond I can't pick which one is better.
Really?
As one of the better kids to come out of this? Oh, absolutely.
People don't know Diamond Johnson. For people who don't know, she played her first 2 years at Phoebus, and she transferred to a school in Philly. She's now at
Phoebus getting all these kids. That's what I want to know.
I don't know. That's a whole other issue. That's that. I don't know. She's now at She's now at Rutgers.
Rutgers.
All right.
Yeah.
And if anybody watching this podcast, please Google her, man, because that girl, Larry, Google her, Diamond Johnson. The girl can go.
Right.
The girl can go.
And she's little. That's the thing. Little. She's itty bitty, and she's lost weight.
She played 2 years here, and then she had some family things that went on, so she went back up to Philly to finish her high school career. And I'm telling you, Phoebus probably would have won about 2 or 3 while she was here, man, but she rolled out.
She did everything. She took the ball out, passed it to herself.
Man. She was good.
Well, like Phoebus don't have enough titles in anything. I mean,
exactly.
Come on, exactly. So, like that 2 or 3, can give to somebody else.
For sure.
Y'all win them all anyway on the 75.
And I think we had one of the better teams still in the area. Diamond scored 51 points against us.
I was at that game, Coach.
Wow.
Hey, Coach,
I ran my girls to death. They ran so much the next day. I said, this little girl come here and score 51 points.
Yeah.
Y'all running.
She was nice. She was nice. It's one of those deals where like you hear about the name and you're like, I don't know if this is true. And you see her play, you're like, okay, this girl can play. She can go. She can play.
But Keisha Frett could do that too. Keisha Frett was a 50-point-a-night kid,
Oh, yeah. I followed Keisha. I had so many newspaper clippings of that girl all the way up here. And I used to put them on there, and I don't know what my grandma did with them, but I swear I had all of them. Like hers was like in the center because I was like, man, it was like front page, man.
Her,
I
I don't
had-
think
I would
anybody will ever on the women's side will ever break. I'm not gonna say never, but her records are just amazing. It's hard to top.
Yeah.
I mean, all
Yeah,
time
like
score, the
2,000
state.
point score.
Yeah, man, crazy.
Yes.
Went on to play at Georgia, so that's great. So, Coach, we really appreciate this, Coach, for you spending time with us. I know you got to take care of Boo and everything, but
he's on the call. He's fine.
He good. Okay. Just talk about like, what did you like? Okay, you said you started playing sports late, but what do you think you learned from sports in terms of how it molded you into who you are today? What did sports do for you growing up and now as a head coach at Hampton?
I think that for me, sports definitely does a lot for your self-esteem. Even though I know anybody can be beaten on any given night, like I feel like I'm unbeatable. If that makes sense. I have like the
makes a lot of sense. I like that swag too.
Yeah, the mindset of what's that saying that everybody tries to get me to say, like, even when you lose, you win, something like that. It's kind of like that mindset. If I lose a game,
you still gain something out of it.
Yeah, I'm still not defeated. Right. It's like, okay, something I didn't do.
L means learn. L doesn't mean loss, it means learn, right? Something like that. Right.
There was something I didn't do that I need to go back and look at, and I'm one of those coaches where I don't sleep well after a loss. It's horrible. I really don't sleep well during basketball season at all, but especially after a loss, I don't sleep well. And like, last year we lost to Mitchfield, and
did Danielle Dawson text you after that?
She called me months later.
I was joking.
She did. I heard y'all lost. I was like,
see, and look, Coach, it never ends. It never ends, Coach.
Wow,
it never ends, man. That's gonna tell you, rivalries never end.
But I love it.
Yeah.
But I really feel like, in all honesty, I felt like it was needed. Like we needed that. We needed. Because it made us, everybody was like, I don't even believe that just happened. It really made us more determined. And I don't think we would have gone as far as we did had we not, got a hind parts handed to us a little bit. So again, I think that's what basketball has done for me. It's made me determined that, at anything that I try to do. It's just made me a very like stern, kind of strong person. I just have a lot of grind, grit, determination.
Yes,
it's
like I said, you on that sideline, you looking all pretty on the sideline with you well dressed. You got that. No, but you got that. No, what I'm saying is you have that intensity though.
Yeah.
Look, I always say, don't let the heels fool you. You know what I mean? She out there getting it in, grinding.
Oh no, you know what? And then, I still have that sensitive side. So I'll still, like the other day, when we finished our league games and I'm talking to the girls and, I'm choking up. I cry at the end of every season. I cry sometimes talking to certain players, it's like, I still have that real sensitive side, but I might cry for 30 seconds and then wipe them and become the boxing gloves, so
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's taught me, basketball has really taught me, like, you might take a loss, but get back up, go back to the drawing board, figure it out and keep pushing.
How is it? I've actually coached under Jean Atkins at Henrico when she coached. And when she used to coach, she was so intense. She was so intense. And guys used to look at me was like, man, how you coach under a woman, or how because it's like Coach Atkins always want us to be all well dressed. We had to look uniform. Everything had to be together. Kids had to walk in a certain way. Our bags had to be a certain way. And that's one thing about when you coach it with women versus men. Men, we kind of be more focused on the game, but women, they have that stuff together. You represent me. So, talk about, do any of your assistant coaches that are men, do they, joke with you about that, anything like that?
No, and I have 3 male coaches that help me out. And I think what I've learned definitely over the years, I think when I started out coaching, I was like really controlling about everything. Like, no, I want to do that. No, we're gonna do this. And I definitely have coaches that I trust. And I think that we all work well together. So I'm not like that any longer. We have a rule, like my kids will ask me, I'm total opposite, I think. My kids will say, can we dress up for the game? And I'll say, no, we're not dressing up. No.
Nope.
Put on some sweats, and they're like, you see other kids come in our school and they're dressed up, and my thing is I want you to be focused on this basketball game, not on this little cute girl outfit. I ain't got time. Put on your tennis shoes. Make sure you have everything underneath your sweats except for your shorts. So when you get to the school, take those sweatpants off, put your shorts on, let's go. So I think I'm totally, the only rules I have, my kids will tell you, they cannot wear slides with socks because I hate that. And
I hate that
if you come anywhere near this bus with a bonnet on,
you done. You're getting off the bus.
Oh, no bonnets, no do-rags, and no slides. And everything else.
That's how I like Coach. That's how I like Coach. Coach was so controlling. She used to always say, sit right here. When I put them on the game, sit them right here. I need to hear what you're telling them. I'm Coach, you can't hear and do that the same thing. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. And then if I'm telling them something wrong, no, that's not what I want you to tell them. And she'll turn around and stop Coach. I was like, oh my God.
Oh no, I don't. Man. Listen, the type of coach that I have, James is like my right-hand man. I wish I would. The kids would. Because there have been times where I just in sheer moment and not realizing I might have had my voice a little elevated, and James will make sure it de-elevates quickly. And I think if you want to have a good staff, that it's important that you allow your coaches to be bosses too.
Absolutely.
I'm not here to override you ever. Even if I don't agree, I'll shut up and let them say whatever. You let my coaches say whatever they need to say. And then, maybe in another setting, I'm gonna say, well, let's look at this instead of, but never. I never try to correct, chastise, or control in front of my kids.
You're all there to help each other. And
absolutely.
Even though you're the head coach and you get the last say, you still want their input and you respect their opinion. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. To be honest, James probably puts in, and one of my other coaches, Jeff, he was in the gym today lifting with the kids. They put in more work in the off season with the kids than I ever have. Let's go running, let's go lift, let's work on your shot. Like that's the kind of stuff that they do in the summertime, which is when we make our most improvement. I show up when it's time for season and put the X's and O's together, but they're really putting in work. So it's important that, their input is respected.
That's good. That's good.
So look, we what's the future for Coach Shanda Bailey? I know you have other interests. Beyond high school coaching, what's the future hold? What's the future hold for you, Coach? I know I want you to get one more coach before you go, but I know you have other interests and you want to pursue other things. So what's the future hold for you?
Well, I'm definitely coming back this year. I'm actually looking into spearheading some programs in the city. I think that, kids just don't play outside anymore. So they're not learning certain skills. So if they're not going to go outside, we need to bring the sports inside. That's kind of my mindset with it. So, looking at trying to get some grants together to try to spearhead sports for young kids within the city. I definitely am looking forward to maybe trying to serve on some sort of committee or board for sports. Definitely women's sports as well. And believe it or not, I even looked into trying to, and it's funny you say that today. I was talking to my friend and looking into trying to see about getting my own gym,
Stop.
moving
Uh-oh.
towards that. That's kind of
See?
like I got to
See?
get somebody to help me with the business plan and,
See? I knew it.
try to get that together. But it's definitely something that, I would love to do. My 9 to 5, this isn't my 9 to 5, but I would love for it to be, I've always wanted to work in sports in some capacity. And I feel like it's what I do well and what comes naturally for me. So I definitely want to stay around the sport. I think that coaching is for, it's for the young people.
Yeah, young people gang. Yeah.
And I'm still young. I love it, but my daughter's going into high school next year. And
Don't tell nobody that.
ooh, I know. She's at Hampton though. She'll be at Hampton. She'll be a cheerleader.
No, I was speaking of you just look young yourself. It look like you got no child. I keep going back to that, but I'm sorry, but
I got a baby, a big baby. I don't know. So I'll coach as long as God tells me to stay put. I always try to say a good prayer before I make any type of major move and make sure that what I'm doing is in line with His will. I'm gonna jump out there, and I definitely don't want to ever leave Hampton High School and not have the kids in good hands and where they're supposed to be. So right now I'm staying put. We'll see. Yeah. We'll see what happens. Mm-hmm.
I want you to know one thing for me, Coach. Tonight, Tuesday, right?
Yeah. Yes.
I hit that Mega Million. You got that gym.
Oh, well, thank you. Look, I'm gonna make sure I hold you to that.
Yeah.
Oh, you gonna hold me to it.
But
thank you.
She gonna definitely hold you to it. But I just love your insight and your perspective on I guess bigger than basketball is what I'm saying. And especially from a female standpoint, man. I got 2 girls, man, and to hear you talk is so inspiring.
Thank you.
Know what I mean? Especially on the female side, just to know. And then when I see that you have all these kids going Division I, and it's not necessarily all about Division I, but just the next level, and pursuing their dreams, and you're helping them, and you got the Winter League, and you helping Boo, and we all know what a global icon Boo is, and what he loves to do for the community, and again. I love what you did. Like Larry, I missed out on the coach of the year. You've done that, but I know you're more you're more in tune on what you're doing for the girls and the community. And I just love what you're doing, Coach. And that's why I said, look, when I saw that, I said, man, no, you got to come on here and tell everybody this story.
Thank you.
I've never met anybody like that.
I love Hampton. And we have a lot of talented kids here. It's just a matter of bringing the talent out in them, starting them early, helping to develop them early, and creating avenues for these kids to go to college. The world is changing, and we have to do our part to give back to these young women, and that's how I feel, and that's definitely what I want to do.
Well, you've been doing that. I mean, you don't even need no more, about it, pat you on the back anymore for that. I mean, that goes without saying, man. It's effortless too.
It is. It's genuine.
I'm glad. I'm glad I got to meet you for the first time. And I want
you to keep in touch with us, Coach, because we want to have you later down the line, because we have. I mean, you have a good personality in terms of how you can articulate what you want to do.
Yes,
what you're trying to do.
Definitely.
You know what I mean?
Definitely would like to have you on for a round table or something.
And look, Larry, she's gonna take our job anyway, Larry. So you might as well get her on now anyway. She says she communication, broadcaster possibility. But look, Coach, we really, I swear, I say this from the heart. I really appreciate you coming on. And
thank you for
one of our better interviews.
Yes, ma'am. I love what you're doing, and you know how I feel about you. I always text you, Coach, I love what you're doing. I'm hyping you up, but this is serious. This is honest. I love what you're doing for the community and the girls, and helping Boo, and just getting the word out for what you're doing, man. I keep doing what you're doing, and I'm always going to be a fan.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you both.
You're welcome. And you got a new one right here.
Thank you. Make sure you inbox. Am I following you back on Twitter?
I don't know, Larry. You gotta check that.
I don't know. I got to look on there. Let me check that real quick.
She said send her inbox, Larry.
Okay, yeah. It's under the league. Yeah, I got you.
Okay. All right. Thank you guys so much.
And spread the word too.
Thank you.
I'm gonna send you a link of this, and we got I think you're a Facebook friend as well. So
okay.
Spread the word, Coach. And I'm gonna keep in touch with you. Thanks again, Coach. Okay.
All right. Thank you. You both have a good night.
Coach. You too.
All righty.
All right. You too.
Bye bye.
Sponsored by Transitions Empowerment.